Hi everyone, Greg Miller coming back at you with another video on a tender offer. I talked previously about this one, the Tetraphase tender offer that was originally by Melinta and then turned into a Jolla tender offer. And found out that I had all my shares that I had kept tendered just this last weekend. And yeah, I'm gonna let you know how it turned out. Check it out, guys. Hey everyone, this is Greg Miller from Spinoff Investing Simplified. I'm your host here at Spinoff Investing Simplified's YouTube channel. And I appreciate you stopping by and taking a look around. If you appreciate this video or any of the others, please subscribe to our channel. We would love to have you along. We also appreciate your comments, and smashing that like button helps us out with the YouTube algorithm. We sure appreciate your time with us and hope you enjoy this video. Thanks a bunch. All right, so as I talked about in the beginning, we are going to be talking about the Tetraphase tender offer and do a little bit of a post-mortem on this. So I originally talked about this a little over a month ago, and you can see a video. I'll make sure that there's a link in the description on this, and also up in one of the little snippets you can check on YouTube. And yeah, I really spent some time talking about it. There's some things that kind of went in my favor and some things that didn't. Let's talk about how it went, and you can decide for yourself if this was a good move for me. So the first thing that you should understand is, like I said, like I like to look at when I do any of these tender offers, is I like to see if it's something that is good for a small investor. So in this particular case, just like the THL credit tender offer, the share price is below $10 a share. There's a total market capitalization of about 100 million. This one had a little bit of a benefit as well, that helps limit the risk, and that is that there was a cash offer for the shares plus the potential for future returns on the shares, or returns based on the sales figures. Now, I'm not going to get into the specifics on that. If you want to, check out one of those other videos and you can kind of see how that is. But this was a good setup for us, and this is how it turned out. First and foremost, by the 11th of June, I had purchased 4,100 shares at an average of about $217 per share. That gave me a total invested amount of about $8,882. And then I paid about $38.25 in fees, and that's for the entire duration of the tender offer. On the 17th of last month of July, I had sold 1,600 shares, all at $257 per share. So I sold some of them at that $257 per share. The total residual that I had invested was just under $5,000, or at about $1.90 per share. The 31st, I received payout on all of my tendered shares, which right now is 2,500. And for those 2,500, there was a $2 payout for all of them, and it turned into $5 grand going into my account. And so basically, I have pretty much have a wash for how much I put into it and how much I've pulled out. So one of my most important tenets is that I don't want to lose money. I want to preserve my capital. And even though this tender offer, at least at the beginning, doesn't look like it's going to do too much, I still had made a small profit of about 2%. And that brings us to the next page. That's actually the return generated, including fees. There was $199.50 that came off of $8,920.25 for 2.24% return. The money was invested for about 50 days. Annualized return turns into about 16.27 per year. That gives me a little bit of cushion, but the most important thing is I didn't lose anything. And that's my number one whenever I'm doing any of these things. So as long as I don't lose money, I'm doing great. Some risks that went in my favor. First and foremost, all of the shares were accepted in the tender offer. There was a weird thing that happened with TDAmeritrade and me, where I had tendered 800 shares, and then I had another 800 shares that I wanted to tender. I tried to go in and use the shareholder library. I ended up having to call them. The problem is the 800 shares was the same amount as the original tendered shares that I had, and that made the account flag it as a duplicate. Problem with that, I was able to talk with the people at TDAmeritrade, and I would like to give a quick little shout out to them. They did a great job in their corporate office to fix that problem, and so I got to be able to tender all of my 2,500 shares, but the last 800, they helped me make sure that that happened. So really appreciate working with them. It was really, really nice to have that happen. The entry price was below the cash payout after being averaged out with a rise in the share price early during the tender offer. Now, that early price share rise was because Jolla at the time, this was disclosed later after I'd put money into it, Jolla was starting to purchase shares on the open market, and they ended up having, I think it was about 15% of the overall shares in Tetraphase. And the reason is they wanted to make sure that they could seal the deal and get this tender offer going for them. So there we go. We have Jolla come in, they purchase all the shares. Finally, the tender offer goes through. If you look at some of the previous videos, they'd had several different offers. The Melinta one was the one that got me interested. And look back at it, had I spent a little bit more, had I known about this or been a little bit more interested about this back in March or February, I might have had a 300% return on my investment, and that would have been phenomenal. But you know, it is what it is. Sometimes you just have to talk about the fish that gets away. But yeah, I'll talk about, if you want to see my original thoughts on the Jolla offer, I also made a video, and I'll make sure that there's a link in for this. So some lessons that I learned from this particular tender offer. First and foremost, looking for complex situations. Not necessarily complex situations with being able to calculate things, but more complex situations on how the tender offer is structured. This one was a cash plus future value situation that included that equity, kind of an equity feel to it. I thought that that was a good way for me to really kind of identify what price I should make. And that little bit of confusion, I think, makes it so that it gave me an opportunity to purchase this lower than what it should have been. I like to make my own assumptions for the net present value of the shares. That was my second lesson. And the reason why that one was important is if I had known what kind of net present value I was getting into, I might have purchased more, or I might have sold out at the higher prices later on. I might have sold more of the shares so that I could recoup those costs and the return pretty quick. And I laddered in and out of the position. I kind of like that method because it doesn't make me react too quick, but it does help me get some quick returns if that's what I need. And so that limits the risk, and in this particular case, limited my risk down to 0. And yeah, that was a great lesson learned. What will happen in the future? We don't know. I'm pretty sure that we should have at least one payout in the next 4 years or so. But basically, I'm sitting on no cost. And as Marie Schiller says, again, going back to that romance without risk thing, Marie Schiller says, hey, we put in our money, we pulled out the cash that we originally invested, and now we have the opportunity to get up to about $1.50 a share on this. So we've already taken out about 5,000. We could have another almost 4,000 come out of it. So 3,700 or so. So anyway, pretty interesting to see what's going on with all this. And that's what happened with the Tetraphase tender offer. Thanks a bunch, guys. I hope you had a great experience watching this. If you liked what I talked about today, please smash that like button. And also, if you want to see more of these videos, I usually like to share the videos of the things that I am investing in right now so that you can kind of see how I'm doing it. I try to get ahead of the curve for it, but usually I try to do just a simple little, hey, this is my analysis, this is why I'm putting some money into this, and this is what I expect. And so far, I haven't been burned with the tender offers, but I'm sure that there will be a day when I make a mistake. So if you want to see that, hey, all the better. Subscribe, and you can go ahead and figure out the mistakes that I make so that you can avoid making them yourself. Good luck with your investing, everyone. As we finish up, we have one final note for you. This video was made for educational purposes only. Any companies mentioned in this presentation were discussed for educational purposes only. Discussing such companies and the specifics about them is for illustrative purposes only and not a solicitation to purchase them. We recommend that you conduct your own research and identify why you might want to own the company yourself before you commit any funds. We also recommend that you seek the services of a financial advisor that has considered your situation as your fiduciary. May your education here grow your knowledge, improve your personal investing performance, and give you the confidence to take control of your future. Thanks.